My video for March 10th, 2020 is video number 3391. The title is Russia Just Told the World No. Quote, out of Russia comes the hope of the world, end quote. I've made several videos about that saying over the years. As I was waiting to make my latest video live, I checked my email as I often do. There was an article, quote, Russia just told the world, quote, no, end quote, by Thomas Luongo. Wow. Now I can begin to grasp why the gasoline prices have been going up and down like a yo-yo. Trump is trying to rebuild the American economy while Russia is selling oil in the global market that may well end the apparent U.S. boom, or the apparent boom in the U.S. markets, or in U.S. markets. Of course, it was the sleeping prophet, Edgar Cayce, who made that prediction decades ago, around World War II, in fact. You may recall Russia was our ally back then. Oh, the insanity of our world. It is what it has long been, a game played by the international money changers, aka the cabal, House of Rothschild, deep state, etc. Perhaps Putin is outwitting the Donald. I, for one, hope so. Not because I am pro or con regarding any nation, but simply because I want humanity to win. The current political structure will never allow that. As I keep saying, we need real change, not merely window dressing. Truth, not more lies. I had wanted to go in a little bit of a different direction till I read that article, and I thought, wow, I've got to scrap what I was going to do and do this one. Now, yesterday I was at the Friends of the World gathering, which is an annual event at the Yoga Mission, and I got to meet a lot of my friends that I've known for a long time. Ironically, most of them are anti-Trump people and would be leaning more toward a liberal agenda. When it comes to politics, I'm conservative. So needless to say, I don't do headbutting with these people, but I don't agree with them either. And nor do they agree with me. So there's not a meeting of the minds. And unfortunately, there's no open discussion either. I enjoyed meeting a lot of old friends, but it was held during my nap time, and it was a 4-hour event, and I had to leave after 3 hours. I was tired, quite honestly. But this thing really gave me an understanding as to why, because I've watched gas prices up and down. I mean, sometimes it might be a 10 to 15 cent rise, usually not a drop that big, but sometimes it goes up that much, seemingly all at once. And then it creeps back down again. And it's, as I said, like a yo-yo. The global economy is driven by resources. Resources have value, whether it's oil, gold or silver or other commodities. These have an effect on our lives. But our lives have been driven by liars for a long time. And the liars, I named some of the groups, or gave some of the nomenclatures of what this is: the deep state, the House of Rothschild, the international bankers, the money changers. And of course, the money changers, we've been warned about them by Jesus a long time ago. If the Bible has any credibility, which I used to believe it did. I'm not so convinced anymore. I'm not so convinced about anything. But I am excited to see this economic game being played out between two of the preeminent world leaders, Putin and Trump. And I'm rooting for Putin, not the Donald. But they say, Ron, you're an American citizen. No, I'm not. I'm a human being. I don't owe allegiance to any country. That is part of the us against them mentality that has been perpetrated on humanity to keep us from loving one another, to keep us from even listening to one another. I mean, I saw it yesterday at the Friends of the World gathering. We can't get into discussions where there are difference of opinions without headbutting. It's very, very difficult. I realize that because everybody thinks I'm right. And I keep trying to tell everyone that love is right, but it begins with listening. It begins with dialogue, with actual discussing differences and being willing to let go of what we've been taught and any preconceived idea of what reality is. Is there a God? I can't believe that someone like me would even come to the place in my life where I question such a thing, because I've always believed in God. But I'm not so convinced anymore that that God that I believed in is real. Certainly, it would not appear to me that that God is loving. It would not appear that that God is truthful, because there are so many lies that I can see now that I was blinded and unable to see earlier in my life. I was brainwashed like everybody else. So it does me no good to throw rocks at others for holding on to ideas that they were told was the truth. What is the truth? What is the truth? I keep coming back to that because that's an important thing. And to me, there's only one truth. Are you able to love everyone, even those that disagree with you? And it is not easy to do, especially when those that are different than you steal from you and want to argue with you and may even create violent things against you. Now, people have told me that there's going to be an economic shutdown, and it's going to last perhaps as long as 6 weeks. And we need to have sufficient supplies stocked up in order to sustain ourselves during the real battle of a shift in the economic and political structure of our world. I don't know that I could sustain a month or 6 weeks without any income. If the Social Security check stops coming, I'm broke. I mean, I just took out a life insurance policy to cover cremation expenses, as I think I said in a video not very long, a couple days ago or so. And the first payment is due the end of this month, March 2020. But I don't know how all of this shenanigans is going to play out. It's a drama, but it's also a circus as we watch these world players vie for preeminence. Again, on this one, I'm for Putin. Thank you for listening, and namaste.